For Honor, tips for Gladiator. Gladiator is kind of a pretty cool character to play around with, mostly because you'd say it's Peacekeeper but with actual interesting combos. Anyway, when I'd say there's a bunch of openers you can use for this guy, one being turtling. Obviously any character can do this, assassin character or warlord. And then I'd say for combo openers, I'd say Encore or Twist of Fate are some of your best, or Neptune's Rage or Wave Rider, or even the Pest. Mostly because Standing Ovation has too many lights, and then it means that, well, most of your stuff will then become predictable, and before you even get the last heavy in there. Neptune's Rage is pretty good because it has a decent amount of range, so you can just poke somebody and then, well, stun them and then get the second heavy off, hopefully. The Pest obviously is your generic light spam. And Encore and Twist of Fate is kind of in that niche area that Standing Ovation kind of misses. It has enough lights to get yourself to a good old heavy after a few stuns. And, well, Twist of Fate can be, like, parried and whatnot, but haven't really seen too many people doing it. But, then, as for other types of openers, you have your sprint attack, which is, while you're sprinting, just hit the heavy trigger. And you do something akin to Valkyrie. But then, if you miss, you can hit the guard break button and do an uppercut. And, quote-unquote, bamboozle your enemy. And, then you have your crowd pleaser, which is dodge forward light. Then you have beasting, dodge sideways light. These two are pretty good, and I'd say it's kind of like the Peacekeeper. Like, you start it off, and then you just hammer on with the lights to get the Twist of Fate or Encore on there, and start going from there, and probably even stab them in the foot if they're out of stamina or just because. And then the Sucker Punch, which I'd say is very good, especially since you can turn it into the cheap shot, which is dodge anywhere except for backwards and hit the guard break and heavy attack. And you'll do a pretty cool thing where you punch, but then yeah, and then you kind of swipe them with the good old trident, and it does a decent amount of damage, and it's pretty much kind of a free heavy, like if your enemy's not that quick. Then obviously the foot stab is a good way to get in there when your opponent is out of stamina or not really stable. Or even, I think, even revenge mode. I'm not sure, but I think if you use the foot stab in revenge mode, you might be able to knock somebody down. I'm not sure. And then you have the Skewer in Chains, which is, I'd say, not really much of a beginning thing, but it's very good for ending a chain. But I don't really recommend using it a lot in the higher levels of play because it gets pretty predictable and it's pretty slow. But if your enemy's off guard or they're like getting stunned and whatnot, you can go ahead and use this and get a ton of bleed damage on there. Or you can just throw them on a wall using the guard break. Then you have your Deflect Skewer, which is basically the same thing, only that it's guaranteed. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty good when it comes to that. Well, anyway, smack that like button, hit the sub, drop the comment. I'll see you guys later for another video.